We are live. So let me track how many people will be watching. Hi, Mohawk. Trying to see if there's a way for me to track it without going into the YouTube app. But I may have to. I'm actually going to kick over to the Bluetooth as well. Can I watch myself? That is the question we are asking. I have one subscriber? Who subscribed to me? The person who does not make videos. It's only supposed to be showing me whatever. This will actually be cool because I can have the chat archived now. So that should be cool. Don't mind this. That is just so our audio can be better. Oh. It really confused me for a second. Delete for a second with me. What? I would never stream and drive. I'm totally streaming and driving. Can you guys still hear me okay? We're gonna stop doing that because it's just stuck in a cycle. What do we want to look at? It's supposed to only be sharing my Internet Explorer, but I guess since I'm changing stuff, it's going to be weird. Don't mind all my games. I'm a gaming nerd. I wish there was a way for me to track my stream. No, I don't want to stop my screen capture. I will have to play around with that in the future. Let's see if we can get a couple more people watching. And we'll get started. 6 people are watching me be an idiot. Test, 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 test. I have 9 people watching. Cool. I muted the car, so I wasn't sure if it would cut my audio. Yeah, so for those who are concerned, I am going to be streaming and driving. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to be playing video games or anything. I'm just going to be talking, and if you see me look off a bit into the distance, that would be why, because I don't feel like crashing, as fun as this is. But we are live. It is game day for the Elite Football League, the inaugural Week 1. We've been waiting for this basically since draft day. Preseason, it's preseason, but it doesn't really count for much. But we've been waiting for this Week 1 action. So I figured, let's get some hype going on. Let's get some people up and active. Make sure people are on the boards, chatting it up. People hitting up on the Discord. Keep active. Keep going. I wanted to go over a couple things about how the league's been seen so far. The predictions are going on. There's been a few articles. The EFL Network's been going over some things. So we here at the EFL Network are very happy to be part of all these opening day ceremonies and really appreciate Shaka and Advantage and Bengals and all their work that they've been doing. So let's review the preseason first. There was some minor issues that caused some panic along the way to start the preseason. Investigations are actually happening to see if there was some NFL tampering. It seems that all of the stadiums for all of the games had their electricity cut, like the Ravens Super Bowl game. Now, the reason that there is NFL tampering going on is John Goodell, Mr. Goodell from the NFL, and Jerry Jones from the Dallas Cowboys were seen at 2 of the games with bolt cutters. So, put 2 and 2 together. They may have, they might be getting a little nervous. So there are some investigations being done by some third parties to see if there was any tampering done by the NFL. But we got the electricity back up and running. And thanks, boss. But there are investigations going on, and hopefully this will not be going on in the future. I can drive and talk about football at the same time, guys. I don't know what the problem is. So we got the preseason underway, and it went okay. A lot of the depth charts were having some issues, but they seem to be corrected for the Week 1. What is the car? Like, what kind of car is it? You're asking what kind of car I drive? Anyway, so we got the preseason underway. Everything went well. Games were a little weird. Like, one of the games was 2-0, and the other one was like 21-10. A little weird, but thankfully, that's what the preseason's for. As much as the NFL talks about the preseason being the test for the players, our guys are computer generated. They don't really need that. The preseason for us is to make sure the simmers can get everything working correctly and, all of this stuff working, which, it seems like Advantage and Shaka got everything taken care of. Yeah, I'll take that off. Thank you. No, I just have 2 keychain things, and they like to jingle. One is a Deadpool, and the other is a picture of my son with my grandmother who passed away. So I like to keep those on my keychain, but I will take the Deadpool one off so it doesn't jingle jangle anymore. Thank you. There we go. No more jingle jangling. Let's see. We got some comments going on. Is that the police behind me? I certainly hope so. See, they can't see. I have this wonderful thing that allows my phone to be connected to like my air conditioning vent, so it just looks like I'm talking to myself, which is completely legal because you can do hands-free and everything, so I'm actually all good. This isn't a new thing for me to do. I've streamed other things not related to Sims live while I'm driving before. Driving is usually my best chance to do things like that. If you ever look at the Scotty Flamingo brand, a lot of those little clip things are recorded as well when I am driving. It's a lot easier to do things when you're driving because you're in the confines of your own car. And if anybody sees you talking, they just think you're talking to somebody on the phone, but you're actually just talking to yourself and a bunch of internet strangers all across the country. Anyways, so we have week 1 coming up, and we have the Memphis Bandits versus the Seattle Predators. I actually do have some notes here. The San Antonio Wolfpack versus the Los Angeles Reign, and the New York Herd at the Miami Neptune. There are a few things that people are, wondering about with this week 1 coming up. This will be the week that we start to see what I believe will be a heavy rivalry for the next couple seasons between Marcus Johnson and Freeman Montgomery. Now, they're not going, head-to-head. They're not against each other. It's offense on offense. But we'll see, is Marcus Johnson going to step up to that first pick overall role, or, is Freeman Montgomery going to do better than him in week 1? And, could that end up being a issue for New York going on? Not that Marcus Johnson's going to be bad, but if Freeman Montgomery does so much better than Marcus Johnson, it could become a problem. There is a bit of a TPE gap already with 132 versus 154. 22 TPE at this point in a league is not insignificant. It will become less significant as time goes on, but if this is the start of it, I do believe Mulholland may have donated. That may be part of it. But, if this is just the start of the gap he's going to create, Freeman Montgomery could take a big leap ahead of Marcus Johnson. That could cause some questions around New York of why didn't they take him. It's not a European car. It's a found on road dead. It's a Ford. Boss, you are 100% correct. Donations are Sim League DLC. That is actually yes, that is brilliant, and I am going to steal that and use that from now on. I love that idea. Because nobody, you can play without the DLC, but it's never quite up to par. Another headline coming in is the defensive line and it's going to continue to control the league until some of the other players, like our player characters, start stepping up. And if they are, is that fun? And if it's not, I guess this is a 3-part tiered question. If it's not, what can we do to change that? It seemed that there was a lot of bot play in terms of things going on with the preseason. I don't know if that has anything to do with the issues that Shotgun Advantage were having, or if it's a result of this sim, or if it's a result of just the way the players are set up right now. Of course, I'm in construction when I'm trying to live stream. But how big of a deal is that going to make going forward And is there a way for us to mitigate it? Should the linemen kind of, like, we have their set amount of TPE for the year, and they only get a certain amount each week, and they update like we do? Like, could that be an option if the bot players are going to continue to be more of the focal point of the league than we are? I kind of see this as like, and those of you who play video games and things like that, we're the player characters, we are the main characters of our own story, blah blah blah, and the bots are like NPCs that we're not playing, and you never want the NPCs to be more important than the player characters, because that's not fun. Is there a way, are these NPCs, these bot players, going to become more important than us? And that's, I mean, is this going to be a 1 week thing, or, we have to keep an eye on that? Other thing, how important are special teams going to be this week? I don't believe there were any big special teams plays, unless you count interception returns for touchdowns as special teams. But there weren't really any huge special teams plays going into preseason. And is that going to change for week 1? I don't think we play with fatigue. So I don't think, anything involving that, so I think our players are on the special teams, but, how important is special teams going to be in this first week? In regards to the game for the LA Reign and the San Antonio Wolfpack, in regards specifically to the LA Reign, who's going to get more carries, Alton Taylor or LeVar Ball? And who's going to make the best use of those carries? Right now they're doing a running back by committee, but if one running back seems to step up much higher than the other, even if it's LeVar Ball over Alton Taylor, will one of them step up into the starting role, and the other one is more of a change of pace instead of a 50-50 kind of split that they were planning on? And could that happen mid-game? It's an interesting thing to think about. Let's see if we have anything fun going on in the chat. This game was won in the trenches. It's going to take a little time for us to catch up. I agree, boss. Do you think it's a good idea for us to be in the background at the beginning is more what I was thinking about. Because I don't know. I've always found that to not be fun, where I'm just like, okay, I'm assisting these bot players in making sure that they can do their job when they're supposed to be the opposite. And I know we're all rookies and it's the first couple of weeks, but the first couple of weeks of a sim league can make or break it. God forbid we have more issues with these play-by-plays and everything. It could spell trouble. Like, these first couple of weeks are going to make the framework for everything going forward. I also didn't realize until last week that we were only doing one play-by-play per week, or per sim set. I don't want to say I hate it, but I'm not a fan of it. Play-by-play is probably my favorite part of a sim league. Like, watching the players go head-to-head and not just seeing the stats. I want to see what happened. I know it was a lot different in Madden because we were watching the games. You could take screenshots and things like that. But I've always been a fan of watching the game, or at least reading the play-by-play and be like, oh, look, Scotty Flamingo did this in the third quarter at this exact moment. Like, looking at the stat line, you don't know exactly when it happened. He could have gotten that pick in the first quarter when it didn't matter. Or did he make that fourth quarter game-ending stop? I think play-by-play is really important, not only in regards to stats, but in regards to awards. Like, if you have some linebacker, going for linebacker of the year, and you have two linebackers with similar stats, what if one was making the plays when they mattered and the other one was getting junk time stats? Like, it's important that I think, this is going to be a made-up word, I guess, but clutchability should be an important factor of knowing how our players are playing. And I don't know. I understand we only have a certain amount of presenters. I think we have 6, but maybe hire a few more if people are interested in taking the job, and maybe one person, figure we have 9 sims a week. Maybe get 9 people or something. I don't know. I've always, again, been a fan of Or maybe, 9 sims a week, get everybody to do 2 a week, and that's part of your job. And, you only have to hire 5, and then one person gets a 1 week, and you kind of cycle that through. I don't know, it's just something that I find very important. I mean, if you have the play-by-play, you're kind of copy and pasting it, and it's more of a putting pizzazz, as Ryan Power Devise would say, putting some pizzazz into the play-by-play and making it its own, which is, I think that's really important for our play-by-play, especially with us not having the live footage, with this being a different sim and not Madden. Putting, having as much clips as possible. It's not a European car, that's European. Ford is not European, it's American. It's not Madden, the engine leaves a lot to be desired for me, it's a result of the system. This is true. I'm pretty sure their play-by-play is for all games, just isn't being presented. That's fine, that's what I mean. I would like to have the play-by-play presented in every game. I don't know if we can view it in the link thing that we have, whatever, the portal, I guess we'll call it. I haven't gone too in-depth with the portal since we haven't started week 1 yet. But if there's play-by-play in the portal, I guess that's a little bit better. But, because, I mean, in regard, as long as it's somehow known, like, hey, this player did this then. But I'd much rather be able to see it live, or at least, just after it happened. I get it's much more, what's the word, safe to do it this way without the play-by-play and with this system. But I don't know, I just find play-by-play really important for a league, and I don't know if you guys agree with me. I mean, feel free to say that you agree. It's Fjord. Snap count, yeah, I mean, the amount of plays would be interesting. I don't think that's something that I don't think any sim has ever really calculated snap count, but I mean, when you have somebody watching the game, you could keep track of it, like, yeah, he was doing this, he just wasn't getting the ball. But with this sim, I mean, snap count, just to know, hey, my guy was on the field and sucked, would even be good. Just so that paranoia of, hey, the DCs didn't work and my player's not playing is squelched. So, like you're in the game and they're like, the presenter puts 2nd and 1, blah, 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 in the backfield. Like, okay, I know my guy's in the backfield. Like, he was in that. He doesn't get the ball, but he was on the field. Like, a lot of how, like, a presenter does it in the NFL. It's something interesting I'd like to have taken into account. I'd love for a big show for, like, the playoffs and the championship game and stuff like that. I'd love to do something huge, like a live cast, something like that. But back to week 1 information. The third game that we have is going to be the Memphis Bandits versus the Seattle Predators. And this will be the first week that we get to see whether Boss is going to be able to, step up as that guy who... the Seattle trade that was very scrutinized, will it be... This is going to be Boss's first chance to show that trade was worth it. And I think that's going to be important, is how good Boss is as compared to Trey Masters. If he's much better, then that trade's really going to be worth it. I think, as we were talking about that trade, it's been scrutinized. That's a big part that people have been missing, is how good is Boss going to be. That's going to make or break this trade more than people are thinking of. Play for big games, playoffs, etc. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been a fan of VHL or SHL or SBA because of that reason, that there's no play-by-play. So, again, it's... I don't know. I know it's a difference of opinion, and it's just a different way to do it. It's just I find play-by-play to be very important for a league. And that's why simmers have always been so important, because they used to do both, was do the sim and present. Now that we have, 2 specific simmers in the game, just kind of sims, and then we just have the presenters who just have to worry about presenting it. I was kind of under the impression we'd be pushing more for the presentation, and especially with how much we have pushed presentation for how EFL has gone so far, with the draft, with everything, with the opening and everything. So I thought with how much we are pushing presentation, that would go into the games. Again, it's not bad. This is still a great league. It's just one thing that I didn't realize was going to happen that is taking some time to get used to. I'm going to answer these questions too, but I want to answer you guys so you can get it going in the chat here. Who do you think is going to win each game? We have the Memphis Bandits versus Seattle Predators. I honestly think the Predators are going to take this one. Nothing against the Bandits, but the Predators still have a really, really good team, and I know a lot of people have them as favorites to make the championship. I don't have that, but I do think that they beat the Bandits here. I think Boss steps up really big. We are not talking about NCAA, but Texas Longhorns will win every game not against USC because USC is stacked. But yeah, I think Seattle takes this one. It's going to be a close game. I'm going to say 17-13. And Memphis is going to try to make a late drive but not get it. 17-13. I'm going to put that on the board. That is officially boarded as 17-13. We have San Antonio Wolfpack versus the LA Reign. This might be the unexpected call of the week, and this might be, you're on San Antonio, blah, blah, blah. I think San Antonio is going to beat them. It's going to be close. It's going to be a slobber knocker. I think the Wolfpack take this, and I think they possibly take it in overtime. I'm going to go full. If I was wrong, then nobody will notice, but if I'm right, I sound like a genius. I'm going to say San Antonio and LA go into overtime, and Los Angeles Wolfpack win it. So there is my upset of the week, is San Antonio over the Los Angeles Reign. And then the New York Herd versus the Miami Neptune. This is the game of the week, and I believe a rematch of the preseason, which I'm glad because it didn't really get to see a good head-to-head there. It's going to be close. I think Marcus Johnson's going to do really well, but I think Miami's going to eke it out by like 3 points, maybe like 13-10 or 10-7. It's going to be another close game. With everybody so close in TPE right now and with how important bots are, I think it's going to be really, really close. And that's the thing. It's our TPE totals aren't affecting it as much with these bots being as good as they are. It's going to take a couple weeks for us to make a difference. So I think it's going to be close, but I think it's going to be 10-7 Miami. So let me know what you guys think on that. And I know you're a little bit delayed, so I'll keep going on. Offensive Player of the Week. Stepping up, big balls. Week 1, Mike Boss, the quarterback for Seattle. I think he's going to have the magnifying glass on him about, stepping up and being that guy for Seattle that they made that move for, and he's gonna step up and prove that he was worth it. I think he's gonna have a really good game against Memphis. I think he's gonna spread the ball around really well. Defensive Player of the Week, Scotty, no. That's a hard one because there's so much. With how important the running game's going to be, I'm leaning towards linebacker, but it's so easy for the defensive backs right now to just get a bad quarterback off his game and just pick him off left and right. So you're... I ain't smoking. But I'm thinking it might be Tyler Barabash as the defensive player of the week. I think he's going to step up and be a really good linebacker this week, and he's going to push it forward. But we are almost there. I mean, we're less than an hour from game time, guys. Let's get the hype going. Make sure you get the, let's get that chat going. Let's go to EFL Game Day. Let's get that thread pumping while I'm driving. Let's just start spamming it with Game Day. Spam it with Game Day. Spam it with GIFs. Get this up and running and make it 4 pages, 5 pages even, before the game even starts. Make them have to make a new thread because it's so blown up. Okay, let's get the hype going on this. Okay, again, what we're being told is it should be a little bit after 6 p.m. So let's get this rolling, boys. We've been waiting for this since this league opened, since the draft. We've been waiting for week 1 to see how we go head-to-head together against each other. We got through training camp and everything. We got all the salaries done. We got the NCAA week 1 started. That was a nice little pregame, nice little appetizer. The full meal's about to go. Let's start a hashtag going around the forums there. We're going to go... It's going to be hashtag week 1 hype. It's going to be the hashtag. Put it around for anybody who's watching. I don't even... How many people are watching right now? Oh, we only have 4 people left watching. We'll start it. Start it and get a spread around the league. I'll post it on the Discord in a bit. Let's get that rolling. That's hashtag week 1 hype. Yes, I do want to start a hashtag. Deion Grimes is a good choice for Defensive Player of the Week. He's going to get quite a few. I just don't know if he'll get it week 1. I don't think Primetime is going to get his primetime numbers. I don't know. I don't know who Michael McClintock is. What's your username on the forum? In other news, I'm making cookies. I love cookies. Yeah, I think we're gonna... Oh, here we go. How dare you? I'm sorry. I don't know who Michael McClintock is by name. I've also been out of the leagues for like 5 years at least. No, maybe not that long. Like 4 or 5 years at this point. So I may forget some names that I used to know. So I really apologize. I guarantee you drop your username. You're the better half of Mike and Mike. There is no good half of Mike and Mike. Unless you're talking about Sim League Mike and Mike, which I do somewhat remember, but I don't remember who's involved with that, so I do apologize. I guarantee you drop your username and I'll know who it is, so I apologize. If you're part of the Sim League Mike and Mike, I wasn't talking about the Sim League Mike and Mike. I was talking about the real Mike and Mike that does the radio and TV broadcast that really sucks. So don't take offense, I'm sorry. I'm the best person on the Texas Longhorns. Oh wait, this isn't Mick Jones, is it? I mean, Duckburg's the best person on the Texas Longhorns, but I'm assuming you're talking about second best. Let's see. Another thing we have to talk about here. I made a list. It's just hard to look at my list while I'm driving. As you guys are probably well aware that you're afraid I'm going to get into a car accident. Also, if I did live stream this and got in a car accident, would that be admissible in court? That's interesting. I'd have to look that up. Do you guys think that this week's games are going to be a good indication about who the favorite of each side of the ball is going to be, whether the East or the West? And do you think these are going to be a good indication of the league going forward? Or is this another... week 1, we're still getting used to the league, the builds, the bots, everything like that. Again, we've always said week 1 doesn't matter. It's week 17 or whatever week we go up to. And I think that's going to continue because everyone, even someone like me, I can stay active for 6 of the weeks. But if I go inactive week 7, week 8, New York could really drop off on their starting quarterback. If somebody, we'll just go on the other side of my cornerback, if someone like Jiggly isn't super active, but then gets a push and starts getting super active, it could be a big jump for New York. Obviously, that was just an example for teams that I'm, familiar with, but think one problem with San Antonio this week is I forgot to update. Like, I did all my points and everything, but Robbie Rotten didn't get updated. So, week 1 and week 2 might be a little rough, because Robbie's sitting at, like, 72 TPE or something. So, yeah, we are coming up on just about 5:20. We have about 40 minutes, we're hoping, for game time. Again, let's get that hype going, boys. I think I'm going to peace out on this one, and for anybody who stuck through for the whole thing, I really appreciate it. It was my first time doing it through YouTube. I usually do it through Facebook for live streaming, so this was an experience making sure all the audio worked, everything, so I really appreciate everybody who hung out and stuck around and watched me drive and talk. But again, let's get the hashtag Week 1 hype going around the boards. Even if you're watching this after the fact and it's like week 4 and for some reason you're just watching it now, post it in this thread that you saw it in, the EFL opening day kickoff thread. Post Week 1 hype in it, hashtag Week 1 hype, just so I know that you watched it. Stay tuned. I might do this a little more often with things. Maybe, probably not while I'm driving as often, but you know, when important things are coming up, like the Pro Bowl, you know, playoffs, maybe mid-season awards, things like that. But let's get ready. We're almost there. League's almost officially started. Once you get to the week 1, it's official. It's like your first time. It's never... Preseason was the first time. You're never good on your first time. You're a little nervous. You cry a little bit afterwards. But then once you get that second one and you're official and it's that week 1, you're ready. You're a pro. You know what you're doing. Who cares how big she said it was? You know what you're doing. You're a pro. On that note, I'm signing out. This is Duckburg. Have yourselves a wonderful day, guys. Peace out.